you know that you've got a column to fill, a page to write, and you know you've got someone for normally a finite time. I mean, you can call them back, but you know, we sit down, it's like, we're going to sit down for half an hour. How do you put the whole thing together?
You just get into this rhythm, right? Like I used to look at my notepad, and if I was interviewing someone on the phone, if I could get 3 pages of my notes, I knew I had a story, right?
Wow.
So little reporter notebook, smaller than this.
Yeah.
I knew that if I got them on the phone long enough to get three pages of notes, I had a 20 centimeter story. So if you look at newspapers, they're in columns.
Yes.
I'd have a 20 centimeter news story was a pretty good punchy story. And I don't necessarily think you think of the intro, body copy, and end while you're interviewing someone or talking to someone. But these are little mental things that go off, where you go, I've got this, I've got that. Yep. He didn't say this, but I can either work my way around it or I can ask him if we get a moment.
Yeah.
The only times it's really been tricky for me when you're on a 15-minute time schedule, say for a pop star. I used to write a music column.
Right.
And I had 15 minutes with Joe Cocker once, and we spent 10 of that just talking shit.
Yeah.
He's just amazing.
Yeah.
I love the guy. And I didn't get to talk about anything other than just horse shit. And it was fun, right? And at the end of it, I didn't make the story. I had a great story. Opposite end of the coin, I had a train crash happen in the Manawatu Gorge a few years ago. Managed to get hold of the train driver.
Wow.
Written the story. We'd written the story to say that the train had crashed, and I was working on the follow-up. We were able to find out who the train driver was, left a message on his phone. As I pushed the go button on my story to send it to the news desk, my chief reporter got a phone call from the driver. So he punched it through to me, got him chatting, and Dennis, I remember, he's standing next to me with a little pad going, did he think he was going to die? And underlining it like this. And I was still trying to get the mechanics of what happened. Right? I said to him, what did you think? What happened? Tell me from your perspective. So I was getting all the detail, and like Dennis is still standing here. He's a lovely guy, Dennis. Underlining this thing, because he wanted this in his headline, right? And I said, so you must have felt dodgy there for a minute. He goes, oh yeah, I thought I was going to die. And I went, oh really? You thought you were going to die? It's just for Dennis's. And he just went, oh, like this, and then he ran off to write his headline. So yeah,
it's interesting, mate, because I get that vibe a lot as well. The sort of Joe Cocker vibe, and that's maybe your style. That you just want to understand the person. You're never in a rush. It's not stressful.
It's got to feel natural, I think.
Yeah.
That's the tricky thing. Like,
because you've still got to you're working. You've got to get that story.
But you've also got to get something unique, right?
Yeah.
And at the time there was. I don't want to ask you what you've got in your wallet, or what your top 10 favorite things, like what's on your plate. Like you want to know you want to get a flavor of the guy, right?
Yes.
And Joe Cocker at the time, he'd gone through his drug issues and everything. He was clean, but you don't want to drag. Everyone knows that stuff, right? Everyone's read that. Now I want to know what's next for you. What's on this album? Is this your first time to New Zealand, or is this the first? Like, get a bit more of that kind of, and then like, what do you do? What do you do to relax? How do you chill out? This kind of stuff that just gets a peek behind the scenes, I think, and it gives you a little bit more flavor of who the person is. Because I didn't care about the sensationalist stuff. It's all biased crap.
Yeah.
It's
clickbait, really.
And it's doing a disservice. I think it's disloyal, right? Yeah. You sit here and go, oh, we had a great chat, but I'm going to just crap on about your drug issues.
Yeah.
No, that's cowardly.
Do you have like go-to questions?
No.
Really?
No. I think I learned early on being prepared for an interview is good.
Yeah.
But actually, it's one of the things, like when I was working magazines, you would get asked if you want to interview someone, and they'd want a list of questions. Like, I don't know what I want to talk to them about.
Really?
But I kind of, it's often nice or better to just start talking. And then you can find your own path into a story.